Hey everyone, and welcome to another Grand Archive video. Today we'll be going over a Fire Diana deck list. This is one of the new champions from Alchemical Revolution, and I'll be going over my thoughts on how I think the deck can be played as effectively as possible, and kind of just my thoughts on like the different matchups and games that I had. I do have to say first, this deck is based on Cam's version of Diana. I've just made a couple little changes, but complete shout out and credit to him because this is mainly his deck, and I'm kind of just here showing it off. But without further ado, let's get on to the deck list. Alright, we will start off with the materials. So obviously we're playing the Spirit of Fire, level 1, level 2 and level 3 Diana. In my opinion, Duststalker is like just infinitely better than Cursebreaker. Just being able to generate a Creeping Torment card under them just applies so much pressure, meaning basically if they draw 2 cards they will immediately take 2 unpreventable damage and the stack. So yeah, it gets disgusting. Moving on to the guns and bullets that I play, obviously we play the Shadows Twin, Plated Bullet, Taser Shot, one of the best cards in the game right now. I'm not even kidding. I'll show you guys wouldn't say combo, but what you can kind of do with this card to abuse it to its full power. And lastly, the Quick Draw Piercer. So I'll just go through one by one. I'll start off with kind of the main card. So materialize a gun by detaching her from your lineage. So you'll go to level 3 normally, you'll then detach this and bring out the Shadows Twin. So Shadows Twin, whenever it's loaded, it gets +2 attack until the end of the turn, which is basically always, because you're always loading the bullets into the guns. The class bonus, whenever an attack using this ability triggers an on-hit ability, it is triggered an additional time. Now, this can be used for some pretty broken plays. The main one that you'll probably have seen is when you generate a Creeping Torment token. This is a on champion hit, so it will generate 2 Creeping Torment tokens instead of just the 1. But if you pair the Shadows Twin with the Taser Shot, because Taser Shot reads on champion hit until the beginning of their next turn, whenever the hit champion levels up, deal 4 unpreventable damage. Because this is an on hit, it will trigger twice. So for example, if you were to turbo to level 3, which is basically what the whole plan of this deck is, you turbo to level 3, let's just say your opponent's still at level 1, you hit them with a Shadows Twin with Taser Shot in the gun, they can't level up basically. If they level up, they take 8 unpreventable damage, which is like huge, because not only are you hitting them for normally 6 with this, so 2 from the loaded, 1 from this, 1 from this, and then Diana's becomes distant when you get to level 3, you're also dealing 8 unpreventable damage if they level up, which most people wouldn't, because they'd most likely die, right? So I don't think this is going to be around for much longer, so abuse it while you can, I guess. But yeah, just the other two, Quick Draw Piercer is just a solid card. I prefer playing this over Blast Shot Pump, mainly because it's a 0 cost and it can draw you a card sometimes. Most of the time when you're materializing this, it's when you want to get off a Taser Shot early, or you just kind of don't have any other plays. I just think with the Blast Shot Pump costing 1, I know this deck runs a lot of floating, which I'll show you later, but just sometimes you don't have it, and a lot of the time this deck can brick even though it's running all the draw cards. But I mean, any deck bricks, so that's just my personal preference. You can run the Blast Shot Pump if you want, but I prefer to run Quick Draw Piercer. And Plated Bullet at the moment, this is just going to be a 2 attack bullet. It's a good card, it's renewable, you know, comes back to your material like any other material deck bullet. But yeah, solid card. I might switch this for the penetrator round if people are going to start to play more of the like prevent damage. At the moment I'm kind of in 2 minds about it though, because a lot of people normally would play like on a Frost or things that basically penetrator round just wouldn't prevent. So yeah, so Plated Bullet, you could play Plated Bullet or penetrator round. It's completely your choice, which is kind of why I like this deck, because you can go down so many different routes of kind of how you want to play it. And yeah, moving on to some more of the draw cards. So I play Orb of Hubris, Grand Crusader's Ring, Bauble of Abundance, and Tithe Proclamation. Going through one by one, Orb of Hubris, I actually really like this card. It's seriously just won me some games sometimes where it's just drawn the dungeon guide when I needed to. Being able to draw 3 and then shuffle them back, it's just an Orb of Regret, but just better. And it does cost 1, but I just think it just is just so good. Grand Crusader's Ring doesn't really need much explaining. It's a free draw. Bauble of Abundance. Play this when your opponent has a lot of creeping torment cards under their champion. So each player would draw a card. So let's just say, for example, you materialize this, you swing with Diana, give them a couple creeping torment cards, it switches to their turn, they draw for turn, and then you activate this and each player draws a card. So basically they've drawn 2 cards and they get dealt 4 unpreventable, which is quite cute. You know, it can come up. It's come up a lot of times where, you know, my opponent just can't get around it because, you know, you can't really stop drawing for turn. And yeah, super solid card. And Tithe Proclamation, it just being able to draw a card and players can't draw more than 3 cards each turn. I normally bring this out when I'm level 3 because I do a lot of drawing before level 3, so I kind of don't want to shoot myself in the foot. Funny ranger pun. But yeah, so that is the material deck, and now we'll move on to the main deck. Alright, so we'll start off with the kind of the floating memory of the deck. So this deck plays 19 floating memory. So we play 3 Lone Gunslinger, 4 Stalwart Shieldmate, and 4 Automaton Bomber. So these are the floating allies of the deck. Lone Gunslinger being able to be a 1 cost, so it's super cheap, and it's just a class bonus floating memory, so something to discard off like a creative, or if you play it and cremation it away, it's super good. Stalwart, once again, being able to play it, cremation it away, free floating, and you get to level 1 or just play anything you really want to. Automaton Bomber, once again, another good card, a good target for Fiery Duelist because she discards a fire card to draw to become distant. Occasionally the ranged 4 come up, but this deck doesn't run all of the ranged allies or things like reposition to make our allies distant. The entire focus is to get to level 3 and put as many creeping torment cards on them as possible, and just also just abuse Carter because it's just a stupidly good card. Very rarely will this become ranged. You could play a false step and then pay the 2 reserve costs to make it distant, but often you're just not doing that and you're sacking this off for Carter to draw a card or for Fiery Duelist. Moving on to the other floating of the deck, we are playing one of the best floating, 4 Tempered Steel and 4 Deploy Gun Shield. Tempered Steel, just a really good target for floating. It's not a class bonus floating, which some of the other ones have, and yeah, it's just a discard. You're not using it for its effect. And Deploy Gun Shield, super good. I think it's mandatory in this version because you're trying to get to level 3 and keep your Shadow's Twin alive, so Deploy Gun Shield can do that, and it is floating memory, so giving your gun Spell Shroud and getting a floating memory, super good card. That's why we're playing 4 of it. Moving on to all of the cards that kind of draw us to our heart's content, we play 4 Creative Shot, 4 Fiery Duelist, 4 Hasty, 4 Cremation Ritual, and 4 Increasing Danger. Creative Shock does not need any explanation. It's such a good card, being able to draw 2 and then you discard a floating, so super good card. Fiery Duelist, I think this is one of the most underrated ranger cards at the moment. So it reads, on enter you can discard a fire element card. If you do, draw a card and it becomes distant, so it becomes a 3/1, which is super good for getting over annoying allies that are just kind of sitting there and kind of just chipping away at you for long periods of time. So 3 attacks, super nice, super good, and being able to discard something like an Automaton Bomber or a Tempered Steel is just super good. Increasing Danger, good card, being able to play it on turn 1 so they don't get to recollect the memory you just gave them, super good. Yeah, not really much else to say. Once again with Hasty, not much to say, it's just an insanely good card. Just you're trying to get to level 3 as quickly as possible, so these are all basically drawing you like the dungeon guide and discarding the floating to get you to level 3. And same thing with Cremation Ritual, you're just literally being able to draw as many cards as you want, which is why I like to type later on if I can. And lastly, moving on to kind of the miscellaneous bits of the deck, so we play 3 Resolute, 3 Incendiary Shot, and 4 Dungeon Guide. Resolute Stand, super good card, one of the best cards of Fractured Crown, just being able to kind of keep you alive and let you kind of get to level 3 without taking too much damage, super good card. Incendiary Shot, now this is what me and Cam have been testing, so basically the reason we're running it is because 1, it's a 1 cost bullet, but also it's got the on hit effect, so if if you load this into Shadow's Twin, it will double. So you'll attack them with the Shadow's Twin, the on hit effect will activate, dealing them 2, and then it will activate again, so it'll deal them 4. So in turn, this bullet just did you 6 damage, and if you're including the +2 on this, that's 8. So a 1 cost 8 attack bullet is pretty good to me. And then Dungeon Guide, just one of the best staples. It's just the whole point. You're trying to draw this is the main bit of the deck. You're trying to get to level 3 and combo off. And lastly, moving on to our Umbra cards, we play 3 Carter, 4 False Step, and 4 Umbral Tithe. Now Carter, I believe this is not as good as Pendragon, but definitely up there next to it, being a 2 cost, cleave, whenever an ally dies recover 1, and you get to sacrifice another ally and it gets +2, so you're cleaving for 4 the turn this comes out, and on the off chance you have an automaton bomber out, you get to draw a card. So super good into Tenora, super good into wind allies, just super good all around. You just get to recover, draw, attack, and cleave, so super good card. I could consider bumping this up to 4. I just personally was running 3 because I thought it was a little bit bricky at sometimes, because you don't want to see all of the Umbra cards when you're level 1. False Step, once again, another super good card. It's basically just a mini Veiling Breeze, being able to sit there for the whole turn and also give you distant, and on the off chance it'll make your allies distant. So once again, super good card. Umbral Tithe, this is normally to finish off the game. Amazing card. So normally you'd use this when they have 4 Creeping Torment tokens, but you can normally use it when they have 2, so it costs 1 less for each curse card under it, so you'll either pay like 3 or 1 or whatever, and then each player draws 2 cards into memory, so they'll take however much unpreventable damage from the Creeping Torments. Let's say they have 4 Creeping Torments under them, they'll take 8 unpreventable damage and then deal 4 damage to each champion controlled by players with 6 or more cards in their memory. So that can be like a lot of damage and can finish out the game in some scenarios. So yeah, Umbral Tithe is a different 4 of. So that is it for the main deck. Now we will move on to the side deck. So for the side deck, the material cards, we're playing Terraforming and Viridian Trinket. We still have to respect wind allies. It's still a very good deck, and it is faster than us to killing us, so Terraforming's kind of mandatory. And Viridian Trinket, it just makes the water matchup like immensely easier, making them pay 2 more when it's our turn, so it kind of limits the amount that they can interact with us. And the rest of the material deck, we play 3 Immolation Trap and 3 Spurn to Ash. Now Immolation Trap is literally just to kill horse, so you'll swing 1 with like a lone gunslinger or something, and then you just play this and destroy the target damaged ally, which is the horse, or deer as the Americans like to call it. So yeah, getting rid of horse is like super huge, because it's really annoying for this deck to kind of get over, because you're wanting to just attack with Shadow's Twin, and Majestic Spirit just sitting there for multiple turns is really annoying. And then Spurn to Ash, this is just for any kind of deck that's annoying with like Scepter of Lumina, or I saw a couple of Temporal Spectrometers, I think that's the name of it, where you gain like a counter and you can pay the memory cost for free or whatever. So just getting rid of memory cards is super solid. And yeah, that's basically the entire deck. I hope I explained it like well. Yeah, so the whole point of this deck is get to level 3, abuse like Taser Shot and all of the curse cards, and put as many Creeping Torment cards under them as possible. I've played this deck, I think, in 3 or 4 tournaments. The first one I played it, I was running quite a bad build, but it was just my first time. I went 2 wins, a draw and a loss. I then went to the hobby the week after with this list, and I went 4-0, and then I played in the online elusive TCG event the other night and went 2-1. So pretty solid. The deck is very good. I think it will definitely be a top meta contender. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to see more deck profiles, definitely tell me in the comments. I've got a lot of new videos lined up on the way, such as gameplays and what cards you should buy, so look forward to that. The deck list for this deck will be in the description if you prefer to view it visually, because I personally do. Just seeing the cards kind of all laid out is really nice online. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Before we end the video, I'd like to give a shout out to Card Merchant Nelson. They sell a lot of different trading card related products on their website, including Grand Archive singles, and also have a YouTube channel where they upload Grand Archive gameplay and deck tech videos, so make sure to check them out.